Morning, intuitives. As I've noticed, my witchcraft videos aren't that popular, nor is my video warning you of narcissistic cult leaders, which was very well thought out with a very famous example. I'm a little disappointed in that one, but nevertheless, you know, how come some of my videos do real well? That narcissistic tactic slander video, I didn't think that'd do that well, and it really did. So maybe it's an algorithm thing. So I'll say magic words like YouTube and Chad Hurley and algorithm. Yeah. Ooh. So hopefully that helps. For all of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that have been with me a while, thanks for sticking around. Don't question too much why you have, but if my eccentricities have helped and my advice was good, consider sending me a tip via the super thanks button, and I would most likely appreciate it. Yeah, who knows what I'll spend it on? Probably gas. But what I want to get into today, like and subscribe to, and that's free, is why INFJs seem to be drawn to broken people. And this can be, as most things, in very different aspects. Could be romantically, friendship, mentoring, things of that nature. And we're going to get into it. INFJs drawn to broken people. Well, one, most INFJs at some time in our life have considered ourselves broken. And that's because, particularly when we're younger, and particularly if we don't understand what being an INFJ is, we do notice that we're different than most people. We're often outcasts. We're introverted. We usually know that. But we're different even than other introverts. And given the rarity of INFJs, a lot of us would come to the conclusion that we must be broken because I don't know anybody else like me, and I'm so much different than anybody else. There must be something wrong. And given that our culture is all about conformity and, status quo, we are led to believe and berated into believing that there's something wrong with us simply because we have no desire to be a follower and follow, whoever is deemed the prince and princesses of what, the all precious status quo is and what fads are and all that. Like, we don't fall in line like a sheep. It's like, oh, if I'm the only one like me, then I guess I'll stand alone over here. But I'm not going to sell out and go stand over there because I don't respect what's over there. Yeah. Yeah, channeling my middle school self there for a second. If only I had hair down to here and a Led Zeppelin t-shirt and a hemp necklace. Yeah, and my boots, like Hyde wore on that 70s show. Yeah, that's straight up how I dressed in the late 90s. Pretty cool. I'll look for pictures. Still have a lot of those shirts because they still fit. But that's the reason why, in part, we're drawn to broken people. Like attracts like, and a lot of INFJs at some point consider themselves broken, or still do to this day, or at one point in the past consider themselves broken. And another big part of why we're drawn to broken people is our intuitive abilities, that ever elusive, ever mysterious way that our brain works. So when meeting someone who is potentially broken or seen as broken or judged as broken, we, INFJs, and putting the piece of the puzzle together, start to think about why that is, and if that person really is broken by their own free will, or they a victim of circumstance and being perceived as broken because they've been abused and beaten down. Yes, our intuition allows us to see into people, right into their souls. And sometimes people that are deemed broken are actually the nicest, sweetest people that are around, and sometimes, the great is just a narcissist. Yeah, we see through. We see what others can't. The real person inside, the monster within. But in the case of broken people, we can often see who that person really is. The person deep down, what their real core beliefs are, what their personality really is, what they're struggling to express themselves. Because a lot of times people that are judged as broken have self-esteem issues. This is typically true of abuse victims, particularly sexual abuse victims and rape victims, that are led to believe that their only value is in their beauty and in how they look, that people find them attractive. And these people often want to help others, as INFJs do, so that draws us to them. It's like, ooh, someone else who wants to help people and be a part of the solution. And given our propensity for deep conversations, we'll often engage these so-called broken people in deep conversation and learn their stories. And being empaths, we will often feel their pain, which some of them even recalling them now, I'm trying to clear it out of my mind so I don't start crying. But you also, if you watched my video on why hexes aren't necessarily evil, there's a clear example of someone who is deemed as broken who truly wasn't. Yeah, who's sadly no longer with us, yet her abuser is for now. But in the case, where somebody's deemed as broken, we help them. INFJs are very good at helping them uh, express their true selves and to exert their free will and be the person they want to be instead of living the fate assigned to them by whatever is deeming them to be broken, be it abuse or introversion, whatever it may be. And in a lot of these cases, these people don't see their own self-worth, and they typically become targets for more abuse, particularly narcissists and borderlines. I've discussed it in other videos. Narcissists and borderlines go after people with abuse histories because they're easier to control, and they've been beaten down so much to believe that they don't deserve better. One, that better may not even exist, and that they're lucky to have that person, because a lot of abuse victims have this fear of being alone, and that's why they'll put up with abuse that they shouldn't, because to them, especially extroverted victims like ENFJs, they believe it's better than being alone. That leads to them being prey by more abusers, and a lot of times new abusers get away with it for longer because all they have to do is be slightly less bad than the one before them, so the bar is set, in the Mariana Trench. And if you're just a couple of feet above the bottom of the Mariana Trench, you are technically a little bit better, I guess, in their eyes. Uh, this can particularly be true in romantic relationships. INFJs, a lot of us are demisexuals, that emotional connection. So when we form an emotional connection with somebody, we form that in deep one-on-one conversations typically, and that emotional connection, people easily trust us. We're easy to open up to, and people, especially one-on-one, will express their true selves to us, particularly if the so-called broken person and the INFJ have a lot in common, and they find that the INFJ is comfortable in expressing their eccentric self and long since stopped caring about fitting in the status quo and what people think. That's appealing to the so-called broken person. And we tried to show them that, hey, you can stop caring too, and you have free will. But as I said, we can see them for who they really are and who they want to be. INFJs, being idealistic, forward-thinking people, were especially drawn to broken people that have goals and aspirations to do something good in the world, to, prevent or help others, to prevent happening to others what happened to them, or to help others who have been through similar circumstances. And INFJs are, not judgmental type. Well, we are, but not. We don't hold something that's not somebody's fault against them, whereas many people would simply slap a label on somebody like, oh, she's broken, there's nothing you can do. We go by our intuition and what that tells us about that person and who they really are, and try to get them to express who they really are and move past that feeling of being broken. INFJs, we do derive a lot of our purpose from helping others, and especially helping others that also want to help others. This can happen in other ways, mentorship ways. INFJs will a lot of times, despite our introversion, seek out and try to mentor quote, broken people that we see as younger versions of ourselves, particularly in situations that we at one time could relate to. And because we have this like moral obligation, like this person A needs help, and B, in that case, the INFJ is like, I've been where they're at now. I know how to navigate through that. Because in our case, and I've been in this situation, I've helped people navigate through circumstances I've been in, and when I was doing it, there wasn't anybody around who's been through it, so it was extra difficult. So for INFJs, people typically aren't broken, particularly if what is deeming them to be broken is due to circumstances that were out of their control, particularly abuse, as opposed to being broken out of choices of free will, like deciding I'm gonna rob banks or I'm gonna be a gangster, things of that nature where it's somebody's free will. But in any regard, we can see that person for who they truly are, and our intuition is the main driving force in that. And we try to help that person express who they really are and to be seen as the person they truly are and transcend the label that has been put upon them. I hope that all makes sense and clears that up. Please like and subscribe, watch the older videos, send super thanks if I've helped you in any way and you feel like I deserve it, or if you feel pity for me. Either way. Remember, trust your intuition about if somebody is broken or not. Somebody's not broken just because some status quo-y know-all be-all said so. It's your intuition that tells you who's broken, INFJ. Trust it. And whether you're an INFJ or broken or anything, be who you truly are. Never sell out your integrity to fit in. It won't work out in the end. It won't.